Good afternoon. Last class we started to learn about Sanskrit and other languages of the different part of the world. So we came to know that by discussing last class, Sanskrit is a part of a family of languages known as Indo-European languages. So Sanskrit is a part of a family of Indo-European languages. See, dear students, some Indian languages, such as what we are discussed yesterday, Assamese, Gujarati, Hindi, Kashmiri, and Sindhi, and the Asian language like Persian, understood now, and also the European languages such as English, French, German, Greek, Italian, and Spanish. So, all these languages are known as a family of Indo European languages. See, why? Because so there we can see originally some have had words in a common in all these different languages. So let us see, for example, matra. Give you an example. Matra. So the means matra means it is actually Sanskrit word. Sanskrit word matra that means mother. That means mother ಅಥವಾ ತಾಯಿ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ ಮಕ್ಕಳ. So Hindi the same. See, in Hindi the mother used to call it as ma. Matra ma. And in English, this is one example. So we often use that mother. See, here there is no that much of difference. So here it is actually in Sanskrit, it is called matra, and in Hindi we used to call it ma, and in English, so it's called mother. So these are actually common words, understood? So and also some of the other languages used in our subcontinent belong to the different families, because in India, so there are several languages which the people they are using in a different part of our subcontinent. So all those languages belongs to different families. So I can't say all the languages are belongs to, or all Indian languages are belongs to uh, what we call the Indo-European family. No. So only Assamese, Gujarati, Hindi, Kashmiri, and Sindhi and Sanskrit. So these are all actually a family of Indo-European languages. Then why we are considered so? Because these originally had words in a common. So this one example. It is the between, I mean, the comparison between Sanskrit, Hindi, and English. But in our subcontinent, there were so many other languages. So those who are belongs to the different families. For instance, those used in the northeast belongs to the Indo-Burman family. The northeast belong to the Tibetan Burman family. And there are some of the languages belongs to Dravidian family, understood now, and there are some languages so which are belongs to Austro-Asiatic family, Austro-Asiatic family. So like this, dear students, the other languages, the different Indian languages are belongs to different families. So the northeast language belongs to Tibeto-Burman family. Tibeto-Burman family. Okay. Then the some of the southern part of the states is they are using, for example, Tamil, Telugu, and even the Kannada and Malayalam. So Tamil, Telugu, Kannada, Malayalam. So these are actually the southern language, such as Tamil, Telugu. Understood now? Tamil, Telugu, and our mother tongue, Kannada, and even Malayalam. So these are actually belongs to Dravidian family. Getting these students. So these languages are belongs to Dravidian family, and the languages spoke in Jharkhand and parts of central India. Especially the languages are spoke in Jharkhand and as well as central India. So those languages are belongs to the Austro-Asiatic family. Austro-Asiatic family. See how these belongs to the different families. So it is about the use of they had the originally the words in a common way. So that's what we are bifurcated the even the Indian languages. All Indian language. It is very clear that all Indian languages are not belongs to the same family. So the Indian languages are belongs to the different language family. Understood now? Especially the Sanskrit, Assami, Gujarati, and Hindi, and even the Sindhi also. So these languages are belongs to Indo-European families, and the northeastern language so belongs to Tibeto-Burman family, and southern languages, I mean the southern languages means southern region or the southern states, southern part of the India, especially Tamil, Telugu, Kannada and Malayalam. So these are belongs to Dravidian family, and the present state Jharkhand and in Central Asia, and they are using those languages are belongs to Austro-Asiatic family. So this is about the brief information about the Sanskrit and the other language and how the different Indian languages are belongs to different language family. Now let us discuss about how historians study the Rig Veda. How? So because the Vedas they were composed so many years back. About last class only we discussed regarding this. It is about 3500 years ago. 3500 years ago. Then how stories? Then that we came to know that these were first time in the printed form. So less than 200 years ago. Before it was not in the written form also. See now let us see that how our historians they were studying the Rig Veda. How historians see historians like archaeologists, so they will find out about the past, but in addition to material remains, because archaeologists actually we all of you knows this, so they were go through the remains of the past to get the information or to know or to study or to see here. Even the historians, like archaeologists only, so they will find out about the past. See, they examine how they were, especially they were examined written sources, written sources. We often knows that the written sources it's too difficult to get, especially from where the people they are not aware about the history and also things. Because just they are composed, they are written, so that's all. They are not aware about the other things. See, some of the hymns in the Rig Veda are in the form of dialogues. So historians they found that so some of the hymns which were in Rig Veda, so they are in the form of dialogues. They are in the form of dialogues. See here, this is a part of one such hymn. This is a part of one such hymn. A dialogue between a sage named Vishwamitra and two rivers, that is about Bias and Satluj, that were worshipped as goddesses. So in Indian tradition, in a Hindu tradition, so the people used to worship even the rivers also in the present days also as a goddesses. Now let us see that Vishwamitra and the rivers just as an example, so how they were discussed about this. Because it is one dialogue which was mentioned in the Rig Veda. So the most of the hymns are, it is in the form of dialogues only. So this is one example, the dialogues between a sage who named as Vishwamitra and two rivers, Bias and Satluj. So Vishwamitra said, "O rivers, come down from the mountains like two swift horses, like two shining cows that lick their cows." So here Vishwamitra actually praying like this, "O rivers, come down from the mountains like two swift horses, like two shining cows that lick their cows." A nice thing. See, you move like chariots to the sea through the power of Indra, through the power of Indra. So you are full of water and wish to unite with one another. You are full of water and wish to unite with one another. Like that Vishwamitra said. So this is like the dialogues between Vishwamitra and the Bias and Satluj river. Now the rivers replied like this. We who are full of water move along the path the gods have made for us. Already the God made the paths, made the paths to move for us. Once we start flowing, once we start flowing, we cannot be stopped. We cannot be stopped. Why do you pray to us? It's very common. So the rivers are replying like, So once we start to flow, we cannot be stopped. ಹರಿಯೋ ನದಿಯನ್ನ ತಡಿಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಯಾರಿಂದನೂ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲ ಮಕ್ಕಳ. Why do you pray to us? Who says? The rivers are replied like this. Why do you pray to us? Who says? Then Vishwamitra replied like this. Oh sisters, please listen to me. Oh sisters, please listen to me. The singer who has come from a distance with his chariots and carts. Let your waters not rise above our axles, so that we can cross safely. So why the Vishwamitra actually requested to stop? See, the singer who has come from a distance with his chariots and carts, let your waters not rise above our axles, so that we can cross safely. Cross ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ ಸೇಫ್ ಆಗಿ. The rivers, we will listen to your prayers so that you can cross safely. Of course, we are listening to you and you can cross safely. See, this is what a dialogue between says Vishwamitra and the two rivers, Bias and Satluj. So it is one example of the most of the hymns in the Rig Vedas. It is like this only. It is in the form of a dialogue. See, historians point out that this hymn was composed in the area where these rivers flow. Of course, dear students, they will point out. So where this was composed, so where these rivers are flow in that region, in that area. They also suggest that the sage lived in a society where horses and cows were valued animals. So the person who lived in that area, so in that area the cows and horses were valued animals. So this information also found by the historians. So that is why the rivers are compared to horses and cows. So here how actually the Vishwamitra compared these two rivers, horses and cows, the same history. See, other rivers, especially the Indus and its tributaries and the Saraswati, are also named in the hymns. So all those rivers are mentioned in the hymns. The Ganga and Yamuna are named only once. See, the Ganga and Yamuna river, it's actually named only one time, but the other rivers, so even Indus and its tributaries, including Saraswati, so mentioned many times. So this one, the example, dear students. So how historians study the Rig Veda. Now we came to know that those people, they are aware about the use of horses and carts and even the cows and other animals also, and the value of those animals also is so high. They are worshipped. Now let us discuss about cattle, horses and chariots. Cattle, horses and chariots. Cattle, horses and chariots. See, there are many prayers in the Rig Veda, especially for cattle children. Especially for cattle children means especially sons, and even for horses also. So horses were equipped chariots that were used in battles. We all of knows that since the beginning, the role of the chariots and the role of the horses in the war field is so much of important. They played a significant role. Why? Because the most of the army are led by the horses with chariots. See, which were fought to capture cattle. Battles were also fought for land, which was important for pasture and for growing hardy crops that ripen quickly, such as barley. So nowadays also very common the war. Why? The reason we all of you knows that. But even in those time also, so there were battles. So the battles were all they were fought for land and even which was important for pasture also, and also for growing hardy crops that ripen quickly, such as barley. See, some battles were fought for water also and to capture people also. So the same dear students even also, even till today, even the present days also, there we can see where the people fight for water, fight for people, fight for getting land and fight for important things. See, some of the wealth that was obtained was kept by the leaders, and some was given to the priests, and the rest was distributed amongst the people. Understood? So, whatever the wealth that was obtained, that was kept by leaders, and some was given to the priests, and the rest was distributed, and the remaining the wealth, so it was distributed amongst the people also. And some wealth was used for the performance of yagnas or sacrifices. You all knows that the yagna, yaga, and so on so things. The so many the religious rituals. See here in yagnas or sacrifices in which offerings were made into the fire. These were meant for gods and goddesses. Whatever they were offering, so were made it into the fire. So these were meant for gods and goddesses. Offerings could include ghee, grain, and in some cases, animals also. ನಿಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಯಜ್ಞ ಯಾಗಗಳನ್ನು ಆಚರಣೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಸೊ ಹಲವಾರು ವಸ್ತುಗಳನ್ನ ಯಜ್ಞಕ್ಕೆ ಅಥವಾ ಬೆಂಕಿಗೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಅರ್ಪಿಸ್ತಾರೆ, ಅರ್ಪಣೆಯನ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಆ ಬೆಂಕಿಗೆ ಆ ಒಂದು ವಸ್ತುಗಳನ್ನ ಅರ್ಪಣೆ ಮಾಡೋದ್ರ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ಸೊ ದೇವಾನು ದೇವತೆಗಳ ಪ್ರಾರ್ಥನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಅದನ್ನ ತೊಡಗಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಮೆನ್ ಟುಕ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಇನ್ ದೀಸ್ ವಾರ್ಸ್. So there was no regular army. So how the present days we can see like that there was no regular army, but there were assemblies where people met and discussed matters of war and peace. But they were gathered. There were assemblies where all the people of that respective region they were met and discussed matters of water and even the peace also. And they also choose leaders who are often brave and skillful warriors. They were choosing the leaders as their leaders. So especially those who are often very brave and skillful warriors. The next class we are going to discuss about the people and their life in this period. Thank you. Have a nice day.